Hey everybody, it's me here again with you. So I've been talking a lot lately with people. I've been seeing some pictures posted on Facebook and things of that nature. And a big topic lately is over editing. I was guilty of it, and a lot of people are, but stop the over editing. It's crazy what I've seen some people do to what would have been some really great images, actually. Um, Making things look like they're floating in air. If you're taking a nature shot of something, like if you're taking a nature shot of an animal outside, that's where they're meant to be. They're not meant to be over edited and literally looking like they're floating in thin air on a pretty, and plain background. Like they're meant to be outdoors. So this is just kind of a video to show you, I guess, some of the editing that I do with photos. Like I said, I was guilty of over editing. I used to oversaturate and use do the vignette or however it is that you say it. I don't know. I don't use it anymore. I don't even know how to say it. That, and it's the middle of the night right now. I can't go to sleep yet. My son's been asleep for a while, but I am up waiting for my fiance to safely land in Orlando, Florida when he left at um well, he left the house at like 8:30 this morning, and his flight left at noon. So he's been gone for 12 hours and on a plane and in an airport because of the storms where he was going. So it was a good time for me to sit and record a video. Anyway, let's get back on topic here. So I'm going to show you, you know, um, you're going to see what we worked on. I actually did we did a photo shoot, a pinup shoot the other day, and we really got some great stuff. And the girls were in some really pretty, dresses and bright clothing and bright red lips and bright red shoes. So that to me is something that I really want to make stand out in these images along with the models. So I decided to take one of the group shots that we did and really play around with that one, because I love some of these group shots that we ended up getting. And I'm just going to show you some of the editing that I did. Now, in the end of the video, I will show you um, some of the filter editing tools that I use. I do use filters sometimes here and there. I don't use them very often. I like to stick with my basic editing tools and my adjustment brush. Those are my go-tos right there, because I don't feel that I need much more than that. And especially with these images, because you're getting a lot of the bright red colors and the bright red shoes. One of the girls was wearing purple, which was nice and bright against everything else. Like, I really want the colors to contrast, so I don't want to do too much else to take away from those images. And I really, really want to keep it simple. Now, I do end up, because I already recorded this video, just so you're aware. It took me like an hour and a half to find a good screen recording program, so now that that's already edited, I came back to do this, but I did already do the video. Everything's done. You're going to see it. I do go in and show you the, filter editing tools that I use, and I ended up finding a really neat one, especially to go along with this 50 shoot. I will throw a couple filters on these here and there, especially with the idea that we have for the photos. We want to do like a magazine cover basically for each one of the girls with one of their photos. So the one that I did for this video I thought was really neat, because the filter I ended up using really gave it that really neat old 50s style that you would have seen on a magazine, on the shelf back then. It looked not cartoonish. I guess that's a really bad way to explain it. I mean, you'll see it. I guess you'll understand what I'm trying to talk about. My brain's done at this point. I'm ready to go to bed. So like I said, it's just stop over editing, people. Be proud of your work. If you need to make adjustments to your exposure and stuff like that, that's fine. We all do. I I always do, you know. There's always something that needs to be fixed. No one ever has a perfect photo, but there's also no need to go crazy with all the editing tools that are offered because half the time you honestly don't need them if you take a photo correctly. You know, you need a few things here and there, and you know, like I said, some photos you can do some really neat things with, like the one you'll see in this video. It's great, actually, the filter, and a couple of them will look really neat because of the type of shoot that we did. You know, if it wasn't a pinup shoot and it was just a regular family shoot for someone, I wouldn't be playing around with the filters unless it was like some black and white, you know, because I do like to do the black and white photos, but again, those aren't over edited. Those are people like black and white. It's very popular. But alright, so I'm going to show you the screen record we've got going on here, and hopefully you guys kind of get the point, and I hope you enjoy. And if anybody is a photographer and you know this is the kind of thing that you do, hopefully this can give you some tips and tricks, because I mean, the software that I use I love. I won't use anything else to edit my photos. I mean, I barely go into Photoshop for anything anymore. I basically just edit everything in Lightroom unless there's something that I'm doing for a school project. Photoshop doesn't really get open, you know, because Lightroom is a great program. But alright, let's get to it. Okay, here we go. So this is what our image looks like. Now, the first thing I'm going to fix in it is I want to go in and crop it a little bit to even them out, so that way we don't have any of the off edges over there. Okay, so now I want to just adjust my exposure a little bit. My pictures always tend to look brighter on my camera screen than what they really are. So sometimes that kind of becomes a little bit of an issue. You know, I guess what I really need to do is work with the lighting a little bit more, but not too big of a deal. I mean, it's easy. As long as they're close enough, I can just kind of adjust the exposure a little bit. I mean, here, this is good exposure. This is how, you know, I really did want it. Alright, so I'm going to start out with using the basic adjustment brush. It really gives you a lot of options here. We're going to go back to this one. I was using that before. Alright, so first off, I want to start out with my highlights. Now, I've already done this with a couple images. I have my highlights turned all the way down because on a couple of these areas, like her back right here, it's really bright compared to, you know, everywhere else. So the highlights were really hitting her well with the strobe light when it went off. So basically all I'm going to do is just run this tool over her, and it's just going to adjust her skin tone and kind of even her up a little bit. And I'm going to do the same with her arm right here, because you really don't want their skin tones to look, you know, you don't want her face to be really bright, but her arm to be really dull, or vice versa, however she was. So we're going to go in and do the same thing here. Just go in, do a little adjustment, do it there, and that actually helps show this ring here a little bit better. I kind of want to hit the side of her face with it. Sorry if you hear my phone going off right now. Obviously, if you can't tell, it's kind of late at night. Alright, so that's done, so I'm going to click done on that. Then I want to go back in and change it to my shadows. Now my shadows are up pretty high. And turn it down just a little bit. Now what I want to do here is I really just kind of want to go in and I want to hit her hair a little bit so you can really see the texture. But I also want to darken it. I don't want it too, you know, bright. Same thing with hers. Like, she's got really pretty colored hair, and you really would just want to see a little bit more of it. Actually, also want to go back in here Alright, I can't do that yet. Hold on. We're going to go back to that. Just kind of going in. Getting the shadows on everybody's hair. And we're going to click done. So then we're going to go back to the shadows again. And I want to go back in and adjust that because I really want to get right here and get the side of her face and the side of hers so that they're not so lost in the shadow and that their faces aren't so dark compared to everybody else's. I mean, obviously, can't do much about this one right here for the simple fact that, I mean, her hand is there. It's going to create a shadow anyway. We're just going to hit over here a little bit and be right in there. Other than that, I think everything looks pretty good for those. So I want to go back in, and now I can adjust my actual highlights over here and make them a little bit brighter because now everything is going to be a little more even toned. I don't really want to mess with the shadows. I actually want to make that a little darker. Kind of bring these blacks down just a little bit. I do notice something that I want to fix. I'm going to go back in and make my brush a little smaller here. I just didn't like how light that made that compared to the other straps. There we go. It was an easy fix. Now I want to go in. I kind of want to play around and adjust, you know, we can make everything a little brighter over here. Now if you notice, like if I take it down, it's taking their lip color out for all of them, and it's really kind of taking the pink out of their face as well. So I don't want to go too up or down with that. And that's where the luminance here comes in. I can adjust that, but again, you know, that kind of makes everybody look a little funny. So we're going to go right there with it. I also want to play around with this purple a little bit and really make it stand out. Don't want to touch the hues because that's actually going to change the color. We're going to make the blues a little bit brighter. Just kind of make everything pop a little bit more color-wise. There we go. And that way nobody looks too over, you know, saturated here. Everybody's skin tones are still really good. You're still getting really pretty colors on everybody. So now the next thing I want to do, and not that anybody really needed this, but I like to do it because you want people to, you know, feel good about themselves, is I want to go in and do a couple little, just simple things. So we're going to go in first. I'm going to do a little, maybe teeth whitening here. We're not going too crazy. We're not making it like bright white. You know, you don't want it to look unnatural to anybody. Keep going. But it's a fairly simple process. You know, and it really can make people feel better. You know, they see their teeth and they're like, oh, my teeth aren't white enough. They're not bright enough. And it's really, except for that. I didn't really mean to do that. Sorry, Wendy. Let's go. Undo. Try it again. Without wiping across your face. Okay. So now my next step is to go in with everybody, use the adjustment brush again, and this time go to soften skin. I don't want to go too crazy with it because people can go overboard, but it's fighting with me right now. Bear with me, guys. Okay, here we go. You know, simple, back out. Just gives her a nice little softened skin. Kind of gets rid of any imperfections that anybody would have. I mean, I don't want to make anyone look extremely photoshopped here. But nothing wrong with adding a little softness to the skin. And it also helps even out the skin tone as well. See how it just really evened out her skin tone. It looks great. Pull back out here, go back in. You know, it's something that kind of just takes an extra minute or two to do. But it can really boost people's confidence as well. You know, people come to you to get their pictures taken, and obviously you don't want to make them look fake, but it just really gives them something nice here to work with. And again, it really helps smooth out that skin tone as well. So any of those extra shadows there that we didn't want are now gone. Let's pull back out. Bring the clarity up a little bit now. So there you go. I mean, really didn't take a lot to do this. I mean, I can still play around and do a lot more if I really wanted to, but I kind of like the look of this image. I mean, you're really getting to see these nice, pretty colors on everybody, and everyone looks fantastic in it. And it really didn't take a lot of editing. It's just simple stuff because, again, like I said, you know, earlier, I've been talking with a lot of other photographers, and it seems like over editing has become just a huge thing. So really, I'm just trying to show you that there's simple steps that you can take, you know, without over editing and making things look absolutely insane and fake, and you just don't want that when you're working with people. You don't want things to look extremely, extremely, extremely fake. You want it to just look nice and simple. I'm gonna bring that back just a little bit. Again, don't over edit. I mean, it seems to happen a lot. People really want to go in, and I'll show you an example, which is something that I really hate, and I did it when I started out, I won't lie. But the vignette, you don't need this on every single photo that you take. Some of them, yes, like this could look kind of cute here. You know, it draws your focus into them a little bit more. But at the same time, I don't really need it because guess what? Without it, your focus is still right on these girls, and that's exactly what you want. So I suggest, don't go crazy with the over editing. If you want to do simple things, there's a great thing that you can use. I use it with Lightroom. I can go in and kind of play around with some filters, which I don't do often. I mean, I might add them to a photo here and there, because they can make some photos look really great, especially they have like a fall foliage that can really brighten up the foliage in the background of an image and really just make the colors pop. But again, you can do all that over here with just your basic editing tools and your adjustment brush. I mean, it's just a matter of figuring out how to do it on your own. So I'm just going to bring up this color one really quick here, if it will work for me. My computer's running slightly slow today. Bear with me, guys. Alright, here we go. So here we go. I mean, you can do a lot. They have the black and white conversion, which there is another color effect for this one as well. We can give it some, we can do the bleach bypass, which would actually give it that really nice 50s look to it. This is going to give it a really soft overall tone, which again, for being a pinup shoot, that would work for this. But in everyday images, I would not suggest this, just because that's really going to, again, just over edit your photo. This one, another one that's really great, because look at how it's making these colors just pop. Again, good for a 50 shoot, maybe not something I would use all the time though. This one's extreme, and I'm really not a fan of how it was there. This is actually really good. Again, for 50s, this one could look really cute. What else do we have? Contrast only. Color balance, not a fan of that one. Cross-processing can be okay. That seems to be one that people really go overboard with. This, again, can almost, this is the detail extractor one. This is almost giving you something that you would have gotten out of a 1950s magazine, and I absolutely love how this looks right now. I'm not gonna lie, because this really is how their stuff used to look. So you're getting these really bright, pretty colors here, having a lot of fun with it. You might be able to take it down just a little more, and that wasn't even all the way up either. That's the crazy part. But this I love. I actually might save that and go back to that. If you really want to do, different filters with your photos, these are what I would suggest. Getting something like this where it's not going to overdo it as much. I mean, you can still use your filters, but people need to understand there's a time and place for those. And if you're doing family photos for people, that's not the time and place to over edit things. I mean, I like to do some contrast with my images. I like to have bright, pretty things. I really like to have everything contrasted. I like things to stand out. I like colors to pop. But I also don't overdo it and make it look absolutely insane as well. Because there's no need for it. If people want to over edit, then they're really going to go to an amateur, and that's what you see with a lot of amateurs, is that extreme over editing that they do. Sorry, I'm just playing around with this because I've never really used this filter. But for this shoot, I think this actually looks really neat, so we're going to save a copy of that. But anyway, and there you have it. Like I said, guys, it's really simple. Just some simple editing, and that's really all you need. And if you want to add a couple filters, hey, great, do it. But like I said earlier, don't over edit. Keep things simple, and you can really create some really gorgeous images. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.